Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts, like the charts behind me, which are of AMC and GameStop. Also happy to be taking requests, as this is Ticker Request Live, which I do every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Happy to take requests in the live chat, so let me know what you guys want me to cover. And also, I did want to note that I have started doing memberships for the channel. I actually meant to adjust the banner at the top to mention memberships, but I forgot to, so I'll do it, sometime soon. But there are so far 2 members, and I am planning on doing additional live streams, probably an additional live stream every week to do kind of a smaller crowd requests. So if you guys are interested in doing it, that's available to you guys. But yeah, hey Jeff, what's up? How's it going? Things are going good. And also, I don't know how many people are joining right now, but Jeff, cheers. Happy Sunday. I just got done with 2 days of work, 12-hour shifts, so I get the next 2 days off, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm happy to go over any charts you request. I know that you left a comment in one of the videos. I'm not sure if you were which one that was exactly, but if there is a stock you wanted me to go over, happy to do it. But anyways, first things first, cheers, happy Sunday, and happy start to the week. And I also wanted to mention that I will probably, like what I do with these live streams, I had timestamps to them. I try to do it the same evening, but sometimes I do it on Monday. But for this week, what I'm probably going to do is post this live stream as a video, because usually these live streams, while there might be a lot of people watching them, the ad revenue is like, I think for last week's video is like 8 cents. So if I think if I re-release it as a video, that might be better for everybody. And and then I'll add timestamps like right after this, just to kind of see how well that performs. So look for that. I imagine if you're watching this after the fact, you found it. But anyways, going over the charts here, I can mention that GameStop has started trading in the overnight trading on Robinhood, which it wasn't up too impressively or anything, but it's down 1 penny. So nothing too crazy. I expect, like I went over in the video, that it will likely be coming down, or just kind of consolidating over the course of the next week or two before we start to see some moves to the upside. And really, same with AMC. And I view that as being a good thing, just more opportunities to accumulate shares while price is still relatively low, both with GameStop around $24 a share and AMC around $4.50. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, but I know it can be pretty discouraging seeing price come down. And I have noticed that there does seem to be a little bit more infighting or just tension, like exchanges on Twitter, stuff like that. And I think that we just need to see a lot more of that infighting, just people being frustrated, taking their anger out on others, other apes, and then eventually we will see the bottom be formed around that, and then we'll see the next leg up. That's at least my thesis. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it takes a couple months. I'm not really sure. But I'm happy to be picking up more when down here. So and before I do continue on with requests and stuff like that, which I don't have any just yet, I am going to pull up Twitter just to share that this stream is going on in case others want to join. And so let's see, get shareable link. And so I will just post this streaming now if you have any requests. Cool. So that's up there, and I will come back to the chart so we can look at some stuff. But yeah, I can just pull up some that I had some interest in, and since I did go over AMC and GameStop recently, I did one of the follow-ups in a poll that I did was SoFi, and then also Velo 3D. I'll probably make videos on these soon, but how about the ticker GROW? I'll pull that up. Let's see what that's about. Is that an MJ stock? No. U.S. Global Investor. So let's look at this. Check out the profile. U.S. Global Investors Incorporated is an investment advisor. The company offers a range of investment options in the mutual fund and exchange traded fund, or ETF, space. It operates principally in two business segments: investment management services and corporate investments. It provides investment management services to U.S. Global Investors Funds, which is USGIF, and ETF clients. It's corporate investment through which the company invests for its own account. The company also serves as an investment advisor to one European-based ETF. So anyways, I could continue on with that, but I won't. But yeah, trading at a price of $2.59. Let's take a step back. Seems like it's a nice dividend stock. Pay dividend every month. That's pretty nice. Market cap 36 million, so it's not too big. But yeah, this has just been consolidating here for quite some time, which is surprising. I would have expected it to break. I would have thought down, but that doesn't seem to have happened. And so let's see. Something that we can do is just a retracement from the top here, 1189, and then down to the low here, which is around 230. Around 230. I'm going to be a little bit off there in how that level's drawn. Let's see. 231.5. 231 point. Oops, don't need the point there. 231.5. There we go. And I will lock that in place. And so yeah, I don't know that shows anything of use, but yeah, I mean, it's just consolidated here for a while, kind of boring. Maybe some things that stand out is that maybe it's forming a little bit of a wedge pattern there. And so maybe it would eventually be breaking out. Although, it has been more or less flat here, so that could be a descending triangle. Whereas if this was a falling wedge, like if it was making lower lows with this, then I think it would be more likely to break to the upside. But with this being flat here, also with it being kind of like elevated from this low, I could see a retest of 231. But yeah, it's pretty surprising to see it like that. But yeah, I mean, over here, you had kind of the same pattern with it coming down, being kind of, like flat here, and then it broke down. And so that might be what's happening with this. Let's see. Volume profile. Yeah, I mean, and it is just, there is this kind of like volume gap below it, and coming down to like the top here around $2. Maybe that's something that could be happening. And I think it would find some nice support there, as you do have, a top here right around 196, a little bit lower than $2. And here you've got actually right around $2. So maybe those two tops would serve as support. And yeah, and actually, interestingly, there was a dip here to around $2. And so this was 2013. And yeah, so bounce from that, and then getting a retest of that level, but getting rejected with it as resistance. And then, yeah, over here, I mean, broke out and then pulled back to that level before the big move up. And so now a bounce here. I could see it fading below that level and potentially coming down to $2 a share, if not lower. So I think it doesn't look so great, but maybe this is about to break out from this wedge. But I don't feel so confident about it. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. And more money, I will be glad to look at ASTI. And Jared, I will also look at Plug as well. No problem there. That was one that I think was... No, I just did a video on Plug. So my analysis on Plug will probably be best in that, but I can just like kind of casually go over it real quick here. And Yankee 610, I don't know what that means. But what's up? Oh, Yankee 610. Sorry, that's your name. Sorry. I thought that was a ticker request. But yes, salute to you. Happy Sunday. Cheers to everybody. There are a few more people here now. Happy Sunday. Happy start to the week. It's a normal week, so hopefully it's a good one. And yeah, I feel like there will be some dip buying opportunities over the next week or two before maybe some moves up. So depending on how you look at it, it could be a very nice week. So I got those two tickers here. The first one being Ascent Solar. This is talked about a lot in the Discord. And so I don't know, not necessarily that familiar with it, but I know that people chat about it. So let's see. What have I drawn here? What are my interpretations? This is on the weekly time scale. That's why things are kind of, yeah. So it did come up to fill this gap, and then, kind of got rejected from this downtrend, pulled back to that, got to close above it, but then gap down, filled that gap with this wick up to that level. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of having like smaller runs to the upside following here. If I just remove the drawings for a second, this big run, smaller run here. Maybe it's, getting ready to launch, just like building up pressure. Let's see. I'm just curious to see if this trend line intersects with the one here, but it doesn't really. But I don't know if there's any significance behind this. I'm really just playing around. Yeah, and that's very steep up there. I feel like, what did I just draw up here? That line. I feel like this downtrend's significant, given that there was a break above it that couldn't hold, and then a test of it here. So I could see price getting up to that level, and maybe that would be, excuse me, getting up to the 786 at like 1541. And so since there was a nice pullback, and it is still down in the after hours, down to like 9.49 cents, just below this level here, I wonder if maybe it will be consolidating over the next month or so and then move up to around the 786, where it intersects with this downtrend and maybe get rejected there. But maybe it's getting ready to launch. It's just like, moving up high, getting rejected, moving up not as high, getting rejected, moving up not as high. And so maybe the next time it runs up, maybe it breaks out. But with this being 10 cents, the lows over here are 9 cents. So maybe, it's trading at 9.49 cents in the after hours, but maybe 9 cents is a good stop loss level, or maybe 8.75 or something around there, a little bit lower. But yeah, and there's maybe potential for this to go up to 15.5 cents, or, really get a lot higher than that. But that's, 50% swing. So perhaps nice big squeeze coming is what More Money's saying. More Money, was it you or was it NASCAR who talked about learning about these from StockTwits? So is this one that's talked about on StockTwits? Or how did you find out about it? I've known about it because it's mentioned in the Discord a lot. And yeah, but I don't follow it too closely. But yeah, it does with these, big move up, rejection, smaller move up, rejection. Like the next time it breaks could be, higher. Although, look at the volume here. This volume was pretty massive. This was lower. And so, yeah, if this kind of fades down, loses people's interest, they sell their positions at a loss because they've lost faith. I don't think it's there yet. But then at that point, then it's like, okay, yeah, let's buy a bunch, and that will really kind of put the pressure on it to go up, because yeah, market cap less than 10 million, and this here 663 million traded on that day, and while here more recently it's 132. So if the volume goes up a lot trading, then it could really launch. And I think that there needs to be more time to shake people out of it, just to be convinced, oh yeah, like after this run didn't go up to the high here, which was 20 cents. And then, people lose interest, lose conviction in their play, sell at a loss. And then at that point it goes. So, I mean, we can see here, we can take a quick measurement of all the drawings now. So from like this high to this high, that was 6 trading days. And then if we do from this high to this high, that was 13 trading days. And so, yeah, I could see like maybe a couple weeks from now, maybe 3 weeks from now, there's another attempt to move higher. But, like how this one was, what did I say, 6 trading days? Like that was 6, then this is like 13. Maybe the next one would be closer to like 4 or 5, around 4 weeks, let's say. And then people are just, the gaps between these are just getting longer, shaking people out before the next move up. So I find that to be interesting. I find that to be a compelling way to look at it. So, yeah, I would, if in this, I would, have a plan potentially with, a stop loss, whether that's at 9 cents or a little bit lower, and a plan to either trim or exit at like around 15.50. But if it does go really high, maybe that's a good level to trim at. So you have the rest of the position to hold to see how high it goes. And, I think that, I had mentioned this downtrend. It broke above it, pulled back, got rejected from it right here. Now it's not even getting up to that level. And so maybe the next time that it does go up to it, maybe it breaks above and is able to hold it as support. I could actually see that as being fairly compelling. Even if this does like squeeze up really high, maybe it gets back up to 34 cents, or maybe higher. Maybe it would cool off and then find this downtrend as support. So yeah, I think that's an interesting chart, but definitely, a little risky, of course. And so, Bruce, I see your comment. I'm just going to type up so I can see what it's saying. SOUN will do anything. I'll add that up here. I am going to look at plug real quick, even though I did just do a video on a SOUN. Okay, so I'll have a look at that. But yeah, so plug, like basically, yeah, what I mentioned in the video, I could see this coming down to 225, which was the low here. This low was 226.3 cents. And yeah, so I mean, I think that price at this point will likely be coming down to that level. Although maybe it does bounce, test this uptrend as resistance, and then start to consolidate around the 786 level here. But I could definitely see it coming down to 225, breaking that, coming down to $2. And I almost mentioned this in the video. I actually recorded part of it, but I kind of got tongue-tied a little bit. I was just trying to think about the RSI. I'm going to remove the drawings for a minute. But here, it's like basically flat, but then you have this lower RSI, and this is a higher low. And so you have a lower low here, a higher low here. So that's bullish divergence, although not that intensely. Get a move up, and then now, yeah, I'm not sure if I mentioned that. I don't want the volume profile, I want my drawings. But yeah, I mean, like maybe I did mention this in the video. The low in the RSI here is 27.92, whereas it's currently 32.47. So, I mean, it doesn't have that much more room to go down before it starts making a lower low in the RSI, but it does have more room to come down here, and that would be making a higher high. If it is to hold above 225, then that would be hidden bullish divergence, and maybe that would be good, but I could see this coming down lower than 225, and with that, the RSI would be lower than 27.92 over here. And so then there would not be any bullish divergence. So yeah, I would have lost that if it comes down to 2. So I feel like it's potentially starting to look kind of weak. So I guess I'm a little concerned about that, but I did, as far as I'm fairly new to, or I'm very new to cash secured puts. I did buy or sell a cash secured put on plug with a strike of $3 a share. And so that hasn't been assigned yet. I believe it will be assigned in the pre-market. So I'd have 100 shares at $3 a share. So for me, at this point, I'm kind of waiting to see if it comes down to $2 a share before I think about getting my average down, which I would probably do by either buying a call or selling a cash secured put at a strike of $2 a share. And so then I'd effectively end up doubling my position, but then getting my average down from $3 to $2.50. So, let's see, Bruce is, SOUN, yeah, on the SOUN comment. And so Jeff is saying plug is up in the pre-market 3 cents. Does it have, is that Robinhood overnight trading? I'll just pull it up. I do think, though, that Robinhood overnight trading can be, I think it's a little sus just because it's Robinhood, and whether it's pre-market, after hours, a lot of times the price can, if price is going up leading into close and then it just continues up in after hours, maybe it will continue into Monday, if that's on a Friday or something. But I find that oftentimes it's kind of like once the market opens, then there's a sell-off. So it can kind of do the opposite of what one might hope. But yeah, plug power. I actually don't see it in the overnight trading in Robinhood. So all I have is for the after hours trading. It went up about 3 cents. Yeah, so that's probably what you're looking at. But yeah, I mean, that's just a few pennies. It's about 1.24%. And if I look at this on the 4-hour time frame, it's just a little bit, but this is all, let's see, just kind of approximate, but, let's see, I'll do it from over here. There's just kind of this downtrending channel, just being approximate, and price is still, even though it's bounced a little bit, it's still in that channel, so it could still go lower. And I suspect it will because of this uptrend that it has broken. And, maybe it does bounce up to that level and test it, but I suspect it'd get rejected with that as resistance. Maybe it'd be able to hold a 786 at 263, but I suspect not, and that 225 will be revisited. So I'd just be prepared for that. Yeah, Robinhood is very sus. Although, some things about Robinhood I do like. I enjoy, I do daily buys with crypto on Robinhood, and so I find that to be nice. But I don't leave what I get in crypto on there. I transfer it to a hardware wallet, so I don't have too much in with Robinhood, although I do still have a notable AMC position from basically back from 2021 that I've just been holding since and adding to more recently. But yeah, so I will go over SOUN. So I'm not sure how you say that, SOUN. And I thought I had looked at this before, but I guess not. And so, all right, we have this. So I can do two things. I can do a Fibonacci extension from the high here, 1025, down to the low here, which is 350. And then up to this high, which is 597. Fraction of a penny off. I'm just going to lock that in place. I know it's not lined up here with the peak, but it's the correct price. And you can see 1025 right there. And then if I pull this up, 1025. So that should be correct. And yeah, so from this, we can kind of get an idea of where it might be going to the downside. And it looks like it's broken the 236, which is at 437.7, 438. And the next level down is the 382, which is at 339. And that would also correspond with the lows over here, which were, it says 350. let's see, yeah, 350. So this level's a little bit lower. But yeah, those lows, 350. So yeah, I mean, this could be, that's kind of tough that it might be coming down to there from this Fibonacci extension. But if I do just a regular retracement, like from the low here to the high, maybe that'd give us some more fine-tuned levels. And so from like 350 up to 597 up there. And so from this, it looks like it's testing that 786 right now, 402.9, so right around $4.03. Closed at $4 a share. This could be a fake out, so I'd look for it to hold $4 and potentially reclaim $4.03. Maybe this would then be a bottom. But what we want to see, if we started to see it just consolidate around this level, this is something I'm not that great at appreciating, that when something comes down and consolidates, it's likely going to continue. What you want to see, like what you saw over here, price comes down and then you start to see a real bounce. And so, this comes down 2 days down, but then this green candle here on the 22nd, you get to see that it's I don't know what that's called, but this pattern when the green bar kind of retraces that red bar, and it's not a complete engulfment of that previous candle, but it does pull back a lot, pull up a little bit, and then from that, it's like after that day, it's like, well, see what happens the next day. Then this one really suggests, okay, that was kind of like a violent bounce from the downside. Then, from there, you can take a measurement. Let's say, from the close of the next day going up to the top, it's almost 50% move to the upside. So we'd want to see like violent, not necessarily violent, but, a bounce from the bottom and a break from whatever downtrend. So if I just do like this trend channel here, I'm actually going to do this going all the way back to, I'll do it from the close there to here. It's just this channel coming down. And so even with that green candle there, it's still in the channel. The next day you get a breakout. And this one, it's not really a confirmation because this is the breakout. You want to see a close above that day's high, which was like right around here. We didn't get that. We got a pullback, but it was still like, a break from this downtrend. And so I think that's, what would be good to see right now, because right now we really just have like from this day to down here, we just have this downtrend. And so what we need to see is, trading above like $4.10 or right around there, getting a close above that. I think that'd look good. Potential breakout from this. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red days. And with that, like volume pulled back a little bit here. So let's see, how does the volume look with this part over here? So it's like coming down, like volume is pretty low as it's like fading. And then here you get a surge in volume as it's going up. And so I think that's kind of a nice sign to see. But I think that unfortunately this is probably not going to hold $4.03, probably not hold $4, and maybe coming down to $3.50. So that's what I would expect, but I keep an eye on it to see where it closes tomorrow. Ideally above 410, that would make me think that it's looking strong like it was over here. But as of right now, it's still in this downtrend, and it's flat in the after hours. So let's see. And so Bruce is saying about SOUN. Bruce was seeing that the AI going to dump. I appreciate you doing that and helping me make a decision of my own. No problem. Yeah, hopefully, with this, for me, for me personally, I'm not in it. If I was holding the bag, like up here or something, and I was starting to doubt, like, is it going to keep going down or go higher? I'd like to see it close around 410 tomorrow, and that would convince me to keep holding. If it stays around 4, that'd make me think it's kind of like over here, there was this consolidation, and then it just started breaking down. Here, consolidation, and then it, broke down a little bit, and then more. So if it starts to consolidate around 4, I think that doesn't look so great. But I also should note, though, that the candle that we see, I'm just going to delete this channel. Or I guess I should say the doji, the open and close, were at the same price, $4. Big wick to the downside, so that does suggest that buyers were stepping in, holding it up there. So that's potentially a bottoming sign. And yeah, it is kind of unfair that it's marked as a red candle or red pattern here because it did open and close at the same price. It should be like yellow or something between red and green, because that could just as easily be green opening and closing at the same day. But it did, gap down from the previous day's close. So it, in that sense, it's not looking so great. But yeah, this is a close to like a dragonfly doji. If you saw the open and close a little bit closer to the top, I think it'd technically be a dragonfly doji, but it's pretty similar to that with this kind of cross pattern. And so that suggests that buyers are stepping in below the open and close price. And LICY would be another request. Happy to go over that. Life Cycle Holdings Corporation. And sorry I keep clearing my throat. I think I dehydrated from work, and then makes talking a little difficult. LICY. Yeah, so I've gone over LICY, which was like the eyewear company. And so this one. So this is like a pretty big bearish engulfing candle. Came down 16% on the day, so coming from the close here down to here, that should be about 16%. Yep. And yeah, opening well above and selling off. So that doesn't look so great with this one. But I think that maybe when we could find a level it might be pulling back to. So I'm just doing that from the bottom at 277 up to the top here at 599. If I can get that right. And so, yeah, the next level down is the 382 at $4.76. So maybe that holds. But or maybe it reclaims the 236 at 523. But I feel like I'd keep an eye on 475. That seems like an important level. This candle did come down to the 618 at $4 a share. It's probably exactly, the low was $4 a share. And that also seems like, I don't know, kind of fishy. Like that it would, come down from $5.99, almost getting to $6 a share, which was on Thursday. And I wonder what are there options with this? I imagine there was a lot of open interest for the $6 strike. This is calls. And these are monthly. Yes, with the monthly contracts, I feel like that was kind of a big tease that, there was just all of these moves to the upside. Is it going to get to 6? Is it going to close above 6 on Friday, which is when the options expire on the monthly expiration for this stock? Gets up to $5.99 and then just like massively pulls back. So that just seems like, and dips down to $4 a share to the penny. So that just seems, a little fishy. So I would think that this is probably going to fade more. And 438 is the 50% retracement. But yeah, 476 you'd want it to be holding for maybe a test and a hold of 523. But this big bearish engulfing candle doesn't look so great. And let's see. Yeah, and that does correspond with the tops from over here. So it kind of makes sense that there would be a good amount of resistance there. Also, the consolidation over here. So there's a good amount of, I guess actually just a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of surprising. Yeah, I think so. This bar, if I remove my drawings, yeah, corresponding with that, it's all of this consolidation here, or the sideways trading, which surprises me because there's a gap here, but then it just consolidated in that gap, filling it. And now there's kind of like this volume shelf. And so actually, maybe that's something to be paying attention to. Like the highs over here were 528. So I think, yeah, 528, I think I said 523 based on the Fibonacci retracement. That's going to be a pretty important level to be holding above because there's so much volume traded below it that would then act as support. Right now, it's kind of in the middle of that volume and that shelf there. And there is kind of like this gap in that volume profile to the downside. Although if we take a step back, it doesn't look as bad. But yeah, I mean, there still is, no matter what, however I adjust the axis, there's this gap here to the downside. If I zoom out a little bit more, there's a gap that's actually lower that corresponds with like the top of this consolidation. So just above there. So yeah, and then also there's this volume point of control, which is at 434. Price might be pulling down to that and holding that as support. But yeah, I mean, I'm not too familiar with this chart, but hopefully what I went over is helpful. But yeah, I mean, this bearish engulfing candle doesn't look so good. Completely engulfing all of the trading from the previous day on Wednesday. And with this, I mean, there was a lot of volume traded then. It did go higher, but then it closed lower. So I think there's a lot of people selling the top there, I would think. Hey, John, what's up? How's it going? I'm doing good. I've been cheersing people, so cheers to you. Happy Sunday. Hopefully your week's looking good. I'm off the next 2 days, so I'm looking forward to a break from work. And yeah, John, I'll definitely look at SQQQ. Hefty position at 810. Well, yeah, I'll definitely pull that up. I think I've gone over the tickers that were requested here. And so I might just go over to the indexes tab to look at, I might first look at the QQQ just to see what's going on over here. Yeah, so I drew this uptrend that, maybe not so significant because there's really just those 2 touch points, but it seemed like it was acting as resistance here. Then we broke above it. And yeah, so I mean, could I connect that to something else in the past? I'm not sure. I'll also look at the SPX because I've done a good amount of charting with that. Same kind of pattern here, though, breaking above that. And one thing that I watched in a clip today on YouTube, which I can share to the channel, was Tom Lee, who is, I think, Fundstrat, something like that, Fundstrat manager. And he was talking about how statistically at its you can make more money going long at new highs than at new lows. And so really, I mean, what that means is it's just like, it's pretty hard to time tops, bottoms, whatever it is. And so with the stock market making highs right now, we can see that the prior highs, I'm just going to switch this over to the weekly time frame. The prior highs were here at 4,800 for the SPX. That was January of 2022. And so like since then, these are weekly candles. Every week it's just been like a new all-time high, other than this pullback here and then getting back to those highs. And so I think that I've started a short position with the SQQQ, SPXU. My SPXU is pretty small, and also the SH. And short semiconductors, which is SOXS. And I think I started making videos on shorting the market at the beginning of the year. So like over here. And I think that eventually the market will turn around, but it's just very, very difficult to time it. As it's clear, it keeps going higher. And so I'm at a loss for like when the bottom will, or the top will be in for the market, when the bottom will be in for the shorts of the market. And so SQQQ, this is the short Nasdaq, and it's 3x leveraged, I believe. Yeah, 3x leverage right there. And so this does look pretty nice on the weekly time frame, just like I was talking about with one of the other tickers, that this does look like a dragonfly doji, which with this big wick to the bottom and a close in the really upper quarter about, even though it was red for the week. Let's see, the week opened at 842 and closed at 840, so just down 2 pennies. That could very well be a bottom. Also, I'm surprised by this, and I don't know if I'm impressed with my analysis or just happy coincidence. But so I had done this gray Fibonacci retracement that you can see here, kind of in the background, and the 1618 from that is at $8.23. And then I did this Fibonacci extension, so going from the top here down to here before this run up, and from that got this 382, which is at 823. Over the course of the past week, we got a wick below that level, and we closed above it. So I'm wondering if that could be a bottom. For this, maybe we get some bad news next week and the market really starts to see some topping signals. So on the weekly time frame, this looks really good, I must say. And I'm just going to look. I tend to average into my positions very slowly. And so with SQQQ, I'm just looking at it on my phone because I'm curious for myself. Let's see. SQQQ. Yeah, I have 33 shares at an average price of $11.24. So, I'm holding the bag. But I did get a share this past week, which was at $8.41. I should have stuck to my analysis and gone with $8.32. The low of last week was $8.42, and so I think that's why I set it at $8.41. Just if it goes lower than the previous week, I'll add. Otherwise, I'm just going to chill. And my prior buy was $9.57. Just one share at a time, pretty casual. But yeah, $8.23. I'm intrigued by that level. So I'd watch for that to hold. And then if there is, even just on the daily, if there's a close below 802, that'd be a little bit precarious. But yeah, looking at this on the daily, though, there's this wick down to 802. The next day, it's kind of basically flat relative to that close, the close here from the 17th. And then on the 20th, we get a bullish engulfing candle that completely engulfs the previous day's trading. And then here, this is a spinning top. So maybe that suggests we'll start to see a little bit of a cool off. Maybe 823 is tested again. And if that holds, maybe the bottom's in there. So I find that to be a pretty interesting chart. And I'm just going to flip over to the QQQ, look at the weekly. Yeah, that looks like that's a gravestone doji, so the opposite of a dragonfly doji. And that big wick to the top side suggests that people were not buying up there, or there were more sellers than buyers. Price went up there, and then it got pushed down. So that could definitely be a topping signal. SPX, not as much with the SPX. I'm going to delete this box here. It is an inverted hammer, but it's not as clear as this. That looks like we'll definitely be seeing a retest, at least of this uptrend. So that's what I would suspect. Also, there's this gap here, so filling that with the QQQ would be coming down to 468.02, or right around 468. The SQQQ, that gap would correspond with getting up to like $9. So, yeah, if you got a position at 8.10, and if it's a pretty hefty one, what might be a good idea is if there is a bounce up to fill this gap, there's also a gap up here as well, around 9.86. Maybe $9 would be a good level to trim at. Take some risk off the table so that if it does come lower, you'd be in a position to be able to add those shares back in, or just, have less on the table to not be stressing about it. But yeah, but this gap wasn't filled. So who knows if this gap will be filled in a bounce that we might see in the next week, or if we'd see the next leg down before that would happen. I could see it coming up to fill this gap because looking at the QQQ, that would correspond with retesting this uptrend. Maybe the uptrend holds, maybe it doesn't. We'd see a test of that. And so I think that would be an interesting sell, an interesting point. And also on the note of the gap with the SQQQ, I believe that would be between June 4th and 5th. We saw a gap up here, but then that gap up was filled. So if I look at the SQQQ, there was a gap here between the 4th and the 5th. There still is a gap there. It hasn't been filled yet. But as far as the QQQ goes, it has been filled. This gap here has not been filled with respect to the QQQ. So I could see a bounce up to $9, maybe getting up to like $9.20 with this consolidation here acting as resistance. People who are holding the bag here wanting to sell and get out of their positions around $9.20. So I could see a bounce to there, but I would not be surprised if this continued lower, as shorting the market has just, those positions have just continued to go lower. And so, yeah, hopefully that was helpful. 810 is pretty nice. I'm eyeing for a gap fill to scale. I agree. Yeah, cool. $9. Yeah, good call. Let's see. I see futures are slightly red, still very early. Yeah. I don't necessarily look at futures too often. And so, yeah. And one, a person that might be useful to follow is like Gareth Soloway and his channel, Verified Investing. He starts every day with a game plan, which is like a 25-minute live stream where he goes over basically, I guess kind of like the headlines in the market, goes over the usually the SPY because that includes pre-market trading. So he goes over that, and then also the Nasdaq, and then we'll also do some tickers of significance, whether it's Nvidia, Apple, or whatever's hot topic. There's just an earnings call, and then he following that, then he does like a little bit of a break, and then he goes into Bitcoin, a few other crypto coins, and then does commodities, oil, natural gas, gold, silver. And so, yeah, he in the first 5-10 minutes of that, he'd probably go over the SPY chart. So that might be of interest, and also going over the QQQ. So let's see. So just checking up on these comments. Let's see. And Jeff is saying, any interest in these super cheap cannabis stocks? I feel like that YouTube is potentially looking for keywords or something. So I feel like cannabis is a safe way to phrase that. Cannabis stocks, IGPK. I will look at that. And actually, I might flip over to the cannabis stock. EV charging. I thought I had one on cannabis right here. And I might add, is it IGPK? Integrated Cannabis Solutions. And so, yeah, I guess before I get into that, I might go over Tilray. That's one that I hold, and I did just do a video on it, partly because whenever I do a video on cannabis stocks, I try to cover all of the stuff that's in this list. It's just exhausting for me. And then also, no matter what somebody requests, I add a ticker to the list. And it's just, to me, it kind of makes me feel like the cannabis sector is oversaturated, just like the EV sector. You see companies like Fisker or Lordstown Motors. I am questioning what's going on with Polestar. Maybe they're going to be the next to be delisted or go bankrupt, who knows. And so I just feel like there are a lot of cannabis stocks that it's tough to know which ones. So with that being said, I feel like this ETF, the MSOS, is kind of a nice one to consider because this investment seeks long-term capital appreciation. The fund is actively managed ETF that seeks to achieve its investment objectives by investing under normal circumstances at least 80% of its net assets plus any in securities of companies that derive at least 50% of their net revenue from the marijuana and hemp business in the United States and in derivatives that have economic characteristics similar to such securities. And MSOX is the same, it's just 2x leveraged. So I feel like these are both kind of a nice way to have exposure to the cannabis sector without necessarily the risk of the market being saturated, and some of these companies are probably not going to make it. Which ones, I have no idea. But the one that I hold is Tilray. That was actually before I learned about the ETFs. The reason why I started to dollar cost average into a position is it's because it's pretty cheap, it's easy to do that, and because it has a pretty large market cap, over $1 billion, $1.37 billion. And so of the tickers that I was looking at, it was one of the larger ones, like SNDL is a market cap of 479 million. So less than half the size of Tilray. Whereas both of them seem like pretty intriguing companies. I'm not sure that I've done a Tilray earnings call. I feel like I have, but I've definitely done an SNDL earnings call. Almost did a CGC one. They have a market cap of 520, almost 2 million, so similar size to SNDL. But anyways, with Tilray in the video that I just put out, I was suggesting that price could be coming down to 165 or 160. And like I said, I slowly dollar cost average into positions with this being really cheap. I don't have that huge of a position, but I just casually add to it on dips. And so my dip buying levels right now are 165 and 160, hoping that the bottom forms there. 160 was this low. I would hope that that would hold. If not, this 786, which is from this Fibonacci extension, so going from the top here to the bottom and then up again, that's how I get those levels. 786 right around 150, and that does correspond with the lows over here. So, I mean, I could see price going down to 150, maybe breaking below a little bit. But so I just kind of want to brace for that, but also, want to be adding on the dips when it comes down to right around 165 or 160. But I won't be surprised if it goes down to 150. But anyways, I know you're not interested in Tilray necessarily, more so in the IGPK. This is a less than 1 cent stock. I believe this has to be OTC, over the counter. I'm not sure what the PK stands for after it, but that is, IG is like the company's symbol, I would guess, and then PK is the listing over the counter. Fisker, that was recently delisted from the Nasdaq, had an N after it, but then following the delisting, it has filed for bankruptcy, and now it has an NQ after it. So I'm not sure what the PQ stands for, but I think that there is a meaning behind that. We can actually look that up. What is the OTC PK meaning? Oh, pink sheets. PK, stock trades on the pink sheets. So yeah, nothing too cool. And I could also look up what the N meaning is. Over the well, maybe NQ. I thought this would have more information on what that means, but yeah, oh well. So yeah, I could go over the chart here. What I see looking at it just from a glance, this is on the daily time scale. From the approximate lows over here, I'm actually going to adjust that to be like right here. That looks like it's been respected more or less, that uptrend. And so I could see price, coming down to that level, which would be around coming down, I guess, like 0.15 pennies from current price, a little bit, basically coming down to the lows here. I could see it pulling down to those, testing that. But I feel like since this has had, 2 tests already, like you see it come down to here, it's like, okay, like actually I'm going to draw this a little bit differently here. I will do this with array, so we can just connect a point here and then a point to the the low on that second one. On that second day, it's like, oh, well, that kind of, there was a bounce there. So maybe I just draw it up to, yeah, so that doesn't include, it goes to the open and close, or the close on this day, the open on this day. And that does, maybe it's at support right now. Maybe it's getting ready for a bounce. But I also think this is pretty skeptical. And I don't have access to trade over-the-counter stocks. But yeah, this could be like, I don't know, buy however many shares, expecting the likelihood of it going to zero to be pretty high. So not worrying about it. But maybe this does bounce up to like 1 cent. And maybe that's a pretty nice trade, which would be from like current price up to 1 cent is just like going to right here. That's a 30% swing. Maybe it goes up to these prior highs or lower. That's 100% swing. So maybe this is one to kind of gamble with, but I think it looks pretty risky as this uptrend could break. And given that it's like here you get the first test, then it's like, okay, then it pulls back to it. Maybe this is a good dip buying level. I'm going to swing it for, 100% move. It goes up 100%. I exit my position. That's great. And so now it's back at that level. We did see this kind of bounce. Yeah, and this was, a gap down into it and then a pretty big bounce over the course of 3 trading days. So yeah, I'll let you decide what you think about it, but it looks a little precarious to me. And NASCAR, what's up? What stocks are you focused on, or what type of stocks heading into this week? So I don't know. Are there ones that stand out to you guys? For me, I'm probably not going to be too aggressive this week. Let's see. Some ones that stand out to me, though, that I recently covered. So Plug, I have a position in this now at an average price of $3 a share because I sold a cash secured put. I feel like this is going to $2 a share. And once it gets down to there, I'd either buy a call or sell a cash secured put to then, double my position. But I think it'd take probably more than a week to get down there. Like I think it could find support around 225, consolidate, and then break lower. That's what I would expect. So I think 2 to 3 weeks from now, maybe I'd be interested to add more to my plug position. SoFi, pretty similar. I need to do a follow-up video on this. I know I have a lot of lines drawn up here. It's a little cluttered. But yeah, from this, I just, I have this purple line here suggesting this was a head and shoulders pattern incorporated into a bear flag. So you got the flagpole here, consolidation here. I expected it to break down following earnings. That's what happened. People got really upset with me about that. There are lots of comments in the video that I put out before earnings about people thinking I have no idea what I'm talking about. Fundamentals are there, all of this stuff. It's like, okay, but it went down, and then people were saying, oh, there's no way it's going to 6. And when I just made the recent video, people are saying there's no way it's going to 6. Like I need to get my head checked, stuff like that. And it came down to 620, maybe 620. Rounding is $6 a share. But I just see, I'm going to have to adjust the axis here. Oh, maybe, no, I won't do that. I'll just zoom out some. I see there's a lot of clutter here with all these lines. I need to clean it up for the video that I do. But there's this gap here to 603. It needs to be filled, and a gap lower to 541. Also, there's this uptrend, this yellow line. That seems to converge with the upper gap that needs to be filled. Also, measured move from the head and shoulders pattern brings it down to $6 a share. And then there's also this 786 at 608 and this 1618 at 614. It could just be coincidence, but I feel like there's just so many lines right around $6 a share. And if price is coming down to fill that gap, it might as well come down to fill this one. And then there are really no gaps in the rearview mirror. So then this would be free to go. So I'm interested in SoFi. Once it hits $6 a share, I would then probably wait for $5.50 to either buy a call or sell a cash secured put. I'd probably buy a call with SoFi just because buying 100 shares for me at like 550, I'd probably want to wait until the fall to be able to be doing something like that. I'm like working on projects right now, so I've gotta buy some saws soon. I'm excited about that, but I don't want to be spending money on saws. But I'm excited. I've always wanted a table saw. I'm gonna get a table saw pretty soon, so I'm excited about that. But yes, this is one that I've been looking at, and VLD. I've been just curious about what this is doing. It just had a reverse split, so I'm wondering if it's going to take off. It did go up almost 8% in the after hours on Friday, so maybe there's starting to be a rally. I think my average is right around $5 a share, right around this shelf here. I added leading into and following the reverse split, which was a 1 for 35. And yeah, but this does look like it's a down move and it's consolidated, so I could see it going down lower. Other tickers that I'm interested in looking at, I'm not sure. NASCAR saying, I think all of last week, the biggest runners off legit news, PRs were priced under $1.50. Penny stocks are still hot. SoFi is, and John saying, SoFi is, I'm just going to type up because this heart emoji blocks some of this stuff. SoFi is a 0 in my opinion. You think it's going to 0? You don't think it's worth anything? Yeah, there are a lot of people very passionate about SoFi. It's tough to say it's going down even when it is going down. Or people just don't want to hear it. People want to hear what they want to hear, whether it's reality based or not. But yeah, penny stocks. I can flip over to the penny stocks tab to see if any of these are of interest. One I noticed, Barnes & Noble, I want to say Airbnb, Barnes & Noble, 631. It's not a penny stock anymore because they did a 1 for 100 reverse split. And yeah, so now I'm going to delete all of my lines on here because they are not going to be relevant. I guess that channel was potentially useful. Let's see. Yeah, because price has resided in this channel. Where do I want to draw it from, though? I'd say maybe from, I'll just do it from the bottom here. So on this day, oh, wait. I was using the wrong tool or something. Yeah, so this has just been trading down. To me, it doesn't matter what the price is, $6 or under $1. It's in this downtrending channel, but it is in the red part of the downtrending channel. So maybe it's getting ready for a violent move to the upside, and maybe we are going to start to see some volatility to the upside. And one thing that actually sparks my interest is thinking about the timing of these moves, because I know that there was a little bit of an offset between Barnes & Noble, these other ones that ran. And so this was on May 17th. It started to really go up on the daily chart. And I'm going to flip over to request list to see. So that's May 17th. When did AMC start running? May 13th. So it was just before it. GameStop. May 13th, yeah. So, but yeah, if there are any tickers on this list that you guys are interested, I'm happy to go over them. And so let's see what John's saying. The stocks with the cult following rarely perform well. NEO and SoFi, for example. Yeah, I don't have a position in SoFi, but NEO, I do have a position in that. So and I bought a call with a $5 strike, and probably a good thing that didn't that I didn't execute that, or yeah. So let's see. I'll just pull up NEO over here. Yeah, and I feel like NEO is going to be coming down to like 4.13, maybe finding support there. Might be coming down to $4. But yeah, this is a down move consolidation. It's been a pretty disappointing stock. That yeah, I was pretty convinced that this was an inverse head and shoulders, and that earnings. Yeah, I mean, but this is also like probably a good example of taking a step back from the biases. So like I had a bias that I thought that this was going to form an inverse head and shoulders, pulling back to maybe this level or this downtrend and then going up. It starts to go up there. So I'm like, yes, it's almost there. The pattern that I'm talking about, it's almost coming to fruition. And I think that earnings will get it to break out from that. But then what do we see here? We saw a rejection here, so a down move followed by consolidation. And then a gap down around earnings. So earnings were in the morning, I believe, so that was associated with earnings. But yeah, I mean, this is, you're getting moves to the upside, but then you get a pullback and then consolidation. So that's a bear flag. And so that's not going to, if it does break out, it would break out and then get rejected by this. And so it broke down. And so I was wrong, and I should have recognized that before, like, you know, when we started to see this. But yeah, it's like you can't, as much as you want the chart to do something, you have to just let the chart tell you. And this was telling me, I mean, even if, you know, this is inverse head and shoulders here with a little right shoulder here, it's been negated basically by this. And similar things happened with Rumble, where it looked like an inverse head and shoulders, but it didn't break out. And, you know, so it's a failed pattern. And so it's good to recognize when things fail. This failed. I'm not adding at $5 a share. I think I'm out 45 or 75 bucks from buying that call. But not a big deal. I'm not really going to be adding until it goes down to like $4.13 or $4, I think. And see, let's see. So John's saying Lyft. So I'll add Lyft here, but I might go back to some penny stocks because NASCAR was saying some. TRNR was a recent reverse split on Friday. I'll look at that one, TRNR. And NASCAR is also mentioning BNED. But so also saying that regarding TRNR, reverse split on Friday, June 14th, and on Monday, June 16th, it had a big move pre-market and then a squeeze higher at open. Seeing action the day following a split can be a nice setup. BNED is a few days past the split now, but still something to keep watch on if it sees big action pre-market someday this week. So something to keep an eye on. And then Jeff's also saying, I'm just going to catch up on the comments, that they are saying SoFi is the next GameStop. Everybody's always saying something's the next GameStop. I think it would be more probable to see FUBO or Plug make a move like GameStop. I've actually noticed a lot of similarities in the Plug chart with GameStop, just really like, and I will pull up FUBO because I don't know that I've looked at that one in a while. And man, like I've been watching, so I live in the hometown of University of Iowa, so it's where Caitlin Clark went to college. And so I've been watching Fever games, and I was initially watching them with Paramount Plus, but now they're no longer showing them. And then YouTube no longer showing them. The only way to watch the Fever games are via either FUBO or like Hulu with ESPN. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like there's some good stuff going on with those. I don't know. I'm not too huge of a sports guy, but I've been enjoying those games. I watched the game today. It was pretty exciting. Disappointing in the end, but it was a entertaining game. But anyways, let's see. FUBO, Plug, and NASCAR had the comment on TRNR. And so I'm probably going to go over that first because he was talking about penny stocks before. So TRNR. And so yeah, here, and this was actually brought up in the Discord. I don't know if you guys are interested in joining that. I'm not too active in it, but a lot of people are just sharing ideas, getting feedback on stocks and things like that. And they were talking about reverse splits and how there can be a lot of upside following them. And so yeah, TRNR, so reverse split on the 14th, which is, I think I was just like reading this to you guys. Reverse split on Friday the 14th, on Monday the 16th, had a big move pre-market and then squeezed higher. Yeah, so massive gap up that has since been filled, and that went up. Let's just, out of curiosity, I guess I could just get 77 or 70.73% up that day. But if I do it from the open there up to the high, up almost 200%. So that is pretty crazy. But now, I mean, what I see is it looks like, I don't know if I drew a channel, it would look good. But I mean, I could do it from like over here coming down. Yeah, this kind of distorts it, pushes it up a little bit. But yeah, it's still like in this downtrending channel. And, you know, it pulled back to right around the middle of it. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe there is another leg up for this, or another move. Maybe not as high, but definitely, in my view, kind of all of these are pretty, I mean, yeah, everything's risky. If it goes up and down fast, you can be in and out fast. Or if it goes down fast, you can hold the bag sooner rather than later. And so, yeah, and like, I'm just going to flip back over to BNED. Yeah, this to me seems like, you know, it's pulled back, it's consolidated. Since it's been consolidating here, it wasn't like a nice bounce. I feel like it's probably going to break lower. But then once it breaks lower, maybe that's a dip buying opportunity, and then it goes up. But looking at this channel, it was trading from like the middle of this red portion before the big move up. So yeah, I mean, last time it touched the bottom of the red portion was June, a year ago, over a year ago. So let's see, just checking up on the comments. Yeah, I think like Caitlin had a lot, like John's just mentioning, Caitlin Clark in the game today. Yeah, she had a lot of assists, though, a lot of very smooth assists. It feels like I'm not too huge into basketball or anything, so I don't know that my commentary is that valuable. But, you know, like, I felt like she was passing the ball way more than she should have, like being the opposite of a ball hog. And yeah, the end of that game was pretty frustrating, but it was intense to the last like fraction of a second. So, and so Jeff's saying she blew it today. Yeah, she could have had some better shots, but her other teammates I think played very well. I think that she played well. I mean, I'm probably can't really. I have a hard time saying anything bad about her, but I think it was an exciting game. I enjoyed it. It was weird to see no plays drawn up for her in the final minutes of the game. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really know what to say because I don't watch basketball enough to be able to take it apart, but yeah. It was disappointing, especially when they had a pretty good lead and then they lost the momentum pretty quick. But oh well. But I will get back to the request list, and let's see here. What were other people talking about? FUBO, I know. Lyft was mentioned by John, so I will. I have Lyft up here, yeah. Lyft. So I don't know what I said in the video that I put out on Lyft. I think I said Lyft is getting a lift, and I was wrong because it's just come down. Yeah, so I probably drew it like I did I don't know how, yeah, I should draw these channels to the date that I go over them so I know when to look back on. Yeah, might have been up here, but I was wrong about that. Still fading, and it looks like it's getting, I mean, getting to fill this gap would be coming down to this purple line apparently at 1213. So yeah, I think that Lyft is probably coming down to 1213, maybe breaking 13 at least. And so what were you saying about Lyft? Has been getting abused the past few weeks. I remember you going over it recently. Yeah, I think I said Lyft was getting a lift. Oh yeah, because I mentioned a cup and handle, I believe. Because I remember putting a cup and handle on the. Oh, that was a larger time frame. What I was looking at, and this is. I want to get this auto fit. Yeah, so it's like from here to kind of slanted. But yeah, I mean, this to me looks like inverse head and shoulders potentially, or cup and handle, with this being cup. I don't know. But yeah, 1213 could be like a really nice dip buy. Oh yeah, and I drew these lines that, yeah, I remember I gave kind of like different scenarios for thinking like the green line could hold, the yellow line could hold. Yeah, and I kind of did them in a gradient of colors. And it was thinking orange would be like the worst level that it could come back to, but it could be coming back to 1213. That's what my guess would be, that it would find a bottom there and then start to go higher. But yeah, it's definitely been getting abused for sure. But once this gap is filled, I think that would look pretty good. There's still some gaps to the downside, but they're pretty small. But I guess there are a number of them here, so a little precarious. And let's see. So I've gotten over Lyft. SoFi being the next. Yeah, so I'll do a comparison with Plug. You know, I'd gone over the chart a number of times and just, you know, like noticed this massive falling wedge. This is on the daily time frame. And that, you know, it's like broken out, but hasn't really had the big move to the upside. If I like remove the drawings here, you know, it's just kind of had a double top around here, around $5. And so, yeah, I feel like this is bound to be going higher. SoFi, I don't think it's as much. I mean, it's just not. Yeah, I feel like the structure of it looks a lot different to me than Plug, like where it is going against this like downtrending level. Plug was doing that for a while, but this was really more of like a falling wedge, I'd say, where SoFi was like in this channel, or at least that's how I have drawn with it over here. And like GameStop, you know, it's like this pretty massive wedge here. So that to me reminded me a lot of, like Plug reminded me a lot of this, although GameStop had a much more massive move to the upside and didn't pull back to these prior levels, whereas Plug has. So I feel like there's similarities, but then some, you know, things are similar and up until the point, then they're not. And so maybe Plug and GameStop are not so similar. After this move wasn't as extreme for Plug and has pulled back more. And so, okay, yeah, so NASCAR posted a bunch of tickers there if people are interested in them. I did do a ticker on RYCEY a while ago. I did a video on it that I think Vince requested it. And yeah, it was, I think, right before a reverse split. And I didn't think it'd be that popular, but because of the reverse split, people were checking out the video. SGBX, TRNR, EVAX. All have similar chart patterns. Dip at the open and then a rip. Let's see. FUBO, okay, is one that I have not looked at. Yeah, wow, this has been being down a lot. Lows, all-time lows of 96 cents. Wow, I did not expect this to be so cheap. So that's not an all-time low, I guess. This goes back to 2017. But yeah, market cap 345 million. And so with this being right here, yeah, I'm wondering if it's going to come down to $1, hit the low of 110 on Friday. I imagine it'll keep going. But yeah, I mean, for me, like, I want to watch the WNBA games, which I haven't been able to do to my liking via Paramount Plus or YouTube. But so probably rather than doing FUBO, which is like pretty expensive and I don't really watch that much TV, I'm probably just going to get the upgraded like live Hulu. That's like $80 a month. I think FUBO's more expensive than that. And so I don't know if like Hulu's in a better position as far as that kind of market goes. So yeah, maybe this is one that's not winning the market share. Plan and director elections. News. What are analysts saying? 9 analysts are saying hold, buy, strong buy. Strong buy and underperform are equal. The price target, the lowest price target is like $2 a share. It's almost 2x from current price. So yeah, maybe this is an intriguing one. I think it would be more probable to see FUBO or Plug make a move like GameStop. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's like kind of scary going back in time. This is the weekly. Were there no reverse splits or anything? When stuff like fades that much, I feel like there's reverse splits, but it doesn't seem like there were any. So yeah, and I wonder if it's getting near $1 listed on the New York Stock Exchange, if it might have to have a reverse split or something. But yeah, it's pretty intriguing because I expected it to be at least in like the 30s or so per share, not $1. And all right, lots of follow-ups here. Hey Trey, what's up? CDXS. Oh, and let's see, John, you're talking about FUBO being pumped into the 60s during the pandemic. Let's see. Yeah, 2021, yeah, 62 up here. And yeah, let's see, where's March 2020? Yes, where's the dip? That's 19. So March 2020, I guess that'd be like right around here. $5 a share, yeah, could have been a 10x. Could have been a 200x. Is that, or 20x? Let's see. Is this 2,000% increase? Yeah, just about. So that's pretty crazy. So yeah, I wonder if that'll be happening again, but from $1 a share. Yeah, and that actually reminds me. I remember like when AMC in 2021 was like hitting, I think it was like, I don't know if it was like 210 or 2 something or 180. I'm not sure. But yeah, I just remember it being like, well, this is like the lowest price it's ever been, or it's never been just below this. This is March of 2023 over here. So yeah, I mean, it's like maybe there's a double bottom for, maybe this is like a pretty appealing time to be adding to it. So I don't know. Interesting chart. I'm surprised to be seeing this, and it's on the DGen list already. But yeah, it looks like an interesting chart. And so CDXS, so I will look over that trade. Sorry for my tangent. CDXS. And I have been streaming for about an hour and a half, so I'm probably going to wind this down pretty soon. My eyes are getting pretty tired, and I want to watch House of the Dragon and put out timestamps with this and release it as a video. So I'll try to do that before I guess before I watch House of the Dragon, because I won't want to do this after. But CDXS, this is Codexis, is an enzyme engineering company. It is leveraging its Code Evolver technology platform to discover, develop, enhance, and commercialize novel high-performance enzymes and other classes of proteins. It utilizes its Code Evolver technology platform to develop optimized enzymes that are used by some pharmaceutical companies to reduce their costs and improve the efficiency and productivity of their manufacturing processes for small molecule therapeutics. It is developing its enzyme catalyzed oligonucleotide synthesis manufacturing platform to enable the scaled manufacture of RNA interface therapeutics through an enzymatic route. It also uses the Code Evolver platform technology to develop enzymes for the synthesis of nucleic acids such as DNA, RNA, including enzymes utilized in its ECO synthesis manufacturing platform, where its enzymes are poised to deliver many of the same benefits it offers in pharmaceutical manufacturing. So it seems like a pretty interesting company. A lot of that over my head, I assume over most of our heads, but seems like there's some utility there. And being like a partner with pharmaceutical companies. And so this has, I'll take a step back on the weekly chart. So maybe I draw like just from the lows over here to the lows hit over here, which was like October, November of 2023. Just being kind of approximate there. So yeah, I could see that being a level that it might retrace to, which would be right around $1.65. So let's see, is there anything over here that stands out around $1.65? I mean, there's this, yeah, right here, right around that price. Oops. So there's just like this consolidation there. So I'm just thinking maybe that, was, I don't know if it's too notable support here, but right around there, just kind of throwing that out there. Maybe that's where this could be pulling back to. But what we can do is a retracement from 145 up to 491. And that looks like it's gotten to the golden pocket. So just got a wick below the 618 on Friday. That's at a price of 277. Did close above that. But it's already tested, following getting up to here, it's already tested the 618. And since price has come down to that level and is not above the 50% level, which is 318, I could see it fading more and breaking through the golden pocket. It's already tested it right here. And so I could see it coming down to the 786, these tops over here potentially serving as support, and maybe that being the bottom around 219. But could come down to 2, could come down to like 170. Yeah, so those are, I guess, my thoughts with it. Also, I mean, this is ugly, but let's see. How do I want to draw this? This is pretty approximate. But man, I don't want all this stuff popping up. Just want to move the points of that line. So yeah, this is all pretty approximate. Just gonna make this a little bit thicker, make it purple. I wonder if this is a head and shoulders pattern, kind of ugly. But if it is, get a measurement from the top here to that neckline and move it from like where a break might be. And that could be suggesting that price to be coming down to 40 cents. I don't think that's happening. But I could see price coming down to 170. So I think this one looks precarious. Not worth, in my opinion, not worth the risk. But, you know, maybe, I mean, it did have this up move and it has been consolidating around this. So maybe this is like to psych us out and thinking it's a head and shoulders pattern when really this is just bullish consolidation. I'm not sure. Yeah. It's tough to say. But one thing, like, so here with volume, surge in volume, price goes up. Smaller surge in volume, price goes up even more, but then retraces here. Smaller surge in volume, price goes up, but not as much. And so, yeah, I don't know. I feel like this one looks precarious in my view. And so, NASCAR saying Qilian has a split on Friday, nothing to indicate it will see action pre-market tomorrow. But if it does and it's opening up around 50%, that would be the play. Trade QLI on the dip at 9:30 and go up for a 100% run. And so let's see, QLI, I'll pull that up. And this is a China-based company mainly engaged in the development, manufacture, marketing, and scale of licorice products. Cool. And like Chinese medicinal derivatives. Cool. And so you said they had a reverse split on Friday. Let's see, what's the news say? Announces 1-for-5 reverse share split. And so, oops. I don't want to. Said on Tuesday that a 1-for-5 reverse split of its authorized share capital was approved by its board of directors on May 29th. That will become effective on June 21st. So that was Friday. And so looking at the chart, it's above, pennies or whatever. So, and so NASCAR saying that a nice play with this could be that, but if it does and it's opening up around 50%, that would be the play. So that this could be, a squeeze catalyst for a short in and out move. So if this is up around $5 to $6 a share, maybe this could be going up to, like the highs over here were like 10. So maybe if it's like 5, swing to $10 and then exit and brace for pullback. And so John is saying, I know it's in a current lawsuit with Warner Bros., I think. Are you talking about FUBO? I imagine John's talking about FUBO with a lawsuit thing. Let's see. And we could probably look up that on the internet. So FUBO, Warner Bros. Lawsuit. FUBO sues the Walt Disney Company, Fox, Warner Bros. That's February 2024. The leading sports first live stream platform filed an antitrust lawsuit against the Walt Disney Company. Let's see. This is from their page. Warner Bros. Affiliates antitrust. So I don't know. I'll include a link to this in the chat if you guys are interested to read it. I'm not going to read all of that. But, or at least I'm not going to read it while streaming. It's a lot to read. And so Trey's saying RYCEY, that's high on my list. Okay, I'm just going to delete some of these that I've gone over. So I've gone over So I'm going to add that to DGenEd, FUBO, delete, grow. Okay, delete that, Lyft, delete, Neo, delete, Qilian. Yeah, so we just talked about them. SoFi. SOUN, got that there. And man, now I need to add RYCEY. Rolls-Royce, cool. I feel like maybe I have gone over this. No. So Rolls-Royce on the watch list is up 200, almost 9% since January, or since like a year ago, and is now only at just over $6, or really, I mean, just under $6. And so, yeah. So what's going on with this? Is it topping, or this is the weekly time frame? Ugh. And so I think this might be the last one. Oop, there's going to be an ad. I'm going to try to skip it. All right, so I skipped it in the last second. So Rolls-Royce. And so, yeah, after this, I'm probably going to... so I have it. It says closed at 593. I don't know if it has like overnight trading or something like that. But, yeah, because it doesn't say it had any trading in the pre-market. Why skip the ads? So, well, I don't have kids, so it's easy there. Because even with ads, streams don't make much with ad revenue, and then it also kind of creates an awkward moment for me with like, well, am I pausing for the ad, or do I just keep talking? And so what I'm going to try to do tonight is I'm going to go through the recording of this. So usually, like, I don't have to, but all of the streams, I record them on the computer, and because it would take YouTube like at least a day for them to process the video, and then I get a version of it to download. But so I have like a hard copy on my computer, and I can go through that, upload it as a video, add timestamps to that. And so I'm curious to see if that ends up being a better ad revenue generator than just leaving the live stream up. So I'll probably like basically repost this live stream, but as a video that would have ads, and then that would be done kind of more like the ad placement and whatnot will be done more organically by YouTube. So I was going to experiment with that this week and see if that's more useful or if it's just more work and not worth it. But yeah, live streams, I feel like they're for the community engagement, not really for ads. The videos get ads, so it's fine with me. Yeah, this actually looks pretty good, but I could see it pulling back to a level. And so I'm just going to do this like casually with this trend line. But, I mean, it looks like, yeah, it's just approximate, but there have been these, tops getting rejected from that. It's broken out. So, like, the time to buy, this is on the monthly time scale, was the end of last year when it, like, broke out. Now I think what we might be seeing, which this current price, and also too, I think like it's an interesting thing, like just thinking about market psychology, why are you thinking about buying this now? Are there other people thinking about buying this now? It's only $6 and it's up, 760% since September of 2022. And so I imagine there are other people also looking at it that are thinking, no, this has been performing well. I'm interested in it. But it did just get to $6, which was the high. The high for the month of July 2018 was $6.18. The high for the month of August 2018 was $6.18. So it must have closed around that price. That was a top before price retraced about 90%. So that was a pretty notable level. And we are currently at that level, or right about there. So I feel like this is more, this is closer to a top than a bottom. And I could see this then retracing to this downtrend, which has been notable resistance on the monthly time scale here, going back to July of 2007. And so we have seen those levels getting rejected there. We've broken out. I think this is going to be a double top with that level, and that it will be pulling back to, let's see, if we do a retracement, just being approximate, from like 59 cents there up to like 610, 612, whatever. The golden pocket is right around, I mean, even just waiting for like $3 a share. That's a 50% discount from right now. I could see it pulling back to like 250, maybe like a year from now. And, or maybe longer, and maybe January of, this is weird. I'm looking at the monthly and it's going by the date's the 21st, not the 30th or yeah, that's weird. But yeah, maybe coming down to the 786, that's like 175. So yeah, and also, I mean, we can think about it too, like hypothetically, if we are to go into a recession, who knows if that's going to happen, are people going to be buying Rolls Royces if we're in a recession? I would think not. I would think that their sales would kind of drop off. This would come back to either, you know, the golden pocket here corresponds with these highs, these wick highs here. If I just remove the drawing, you can see them right there. Maybe there's some support there, or maybe that's getting into some support. But the 786, all of this consolidation below it, that could definitely be acting as support. So I feel like $6 is closer to a top than a bottom. But maybe this continues up higher to the highs up here around $9 a share. I feel like there's, yeah, I don't know. I feel like right now I have kind of bearish sentiment. I've been talking about a lot of things pulling back. But like, yeah, I mean, it's broken out from this downtrend on the monthly time scale. If we were looking at the RSI, that's at 83.63 on the monthly time frame. On the weekly time frame, it's 81.64, definitely overbought. We've been putting in higher highs with the price, also been doing higher highs with the RSI, but now not so much. Now it's actually a lower high, whereas with the price up here, it's a higher high. That's bearish divergence. Looking at it on the daily time frame, yeah, I mean, we're getting higher highs here in the price, but the RSI has been coming down lower. So that's bearish divergence. So I feel like Rolls-Royce is going to be pulling back, and it could be coming down at least 50%. So I would caution against it. 607 at the moment. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I mean, let's see. Maybe if there's, I don't know if there'd be overnight trading with it, but let's see. One second. I'm just pulling up Robinhood on my phone to see if there's some overnight trading with RYCEY. Yeah, I just see it as 593. I'm not sure why. And it also says ADR, American Depository Receipts, represent shares of non-U.S. based companies. I'm not going to learn more about those. But yeah, I feel like it seems like it's potentially topping. I thought maybe it was just my broker showing my regarded numbers. I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah. To the time. So the time to buy was when I put it in my watch list. Typical misses the boat instead of trusting instinct. Yeah, but also too. Yeah, I mean, Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, is Nvidia going to continue to make all-time highs? Is it going to massively surpass Microsoft and Apple? Uh, you know, things may just continue to go higher, but at some point they're going to turn around. And it's like Rolls-Royce, definitely a very different category than Nvidia, but this is definitely like broken out. I think eventually it will retrace to just, yeah, I mean, looking at this downtrend, it's not perfect, but I mean, price hasn't traded above that downtrend really for more than 2 consecutive months, really, until just recently. So I could see it coming back to at least $3 a share. And the time to buy was when I put it in my watch list. Very true. Oh, this is not Rolls-Royce, the cars. So, oh, okay. So this is, so if I look at the profile, Rolls-Royce Holdings PLC is a United Kingdom-based engineering company. The company is focused on power and propulsion systems. Its segments include civil aerospace, which is engaged in the development, manufacture, marketing, and sales of commercial aero engines, and aftermarket services. And so I will just type in Rolls-Royce. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what Rolls-Royce would be. Maybe if I just type in Rolls. I don't know. But yeah, regardless, if this is, I don't know if this is a chart that you were thinking of with it having these peaks going back in time, but I could see it pulling back. And I'm just going to look up on my phone to see Rolls Royce ticker. Yeah, that's it. So but yeah, I am feeling pretty tired. My eyes are getting kind of heavy and stuff. I've been going for an hour and 47 minutes. So I will probably close it on that. Rolls-Royce looking like it might be topping with double top here around 610-ish. But yeah, it was a fun stream. And I don't know if I'll get to it tonight just because I'm feeling like I want to crash and I want to watch Game of Thrones. But I will probably release this as a video with timestamps tomorrow rather than adding timestamps to the live stream. And then once I release that video, I will probably make this stream private and just to see if people engage with that, if it's useful. And yeah, have a good night. I don't know what emoji is. Takeout tray, little takeout box thing. But yeah, I will be posting some videos tomorrow. Let's see. I think I'll probably do a SoFi update, maybe a Velo 3D, and yeah, I'll just see what looks interesting, and we'll post some videos, and you guys can always comment, let me know what you'd like to see. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great night, great start to the week. I am excited for the open tomorrow because the options that I had will be assigned. I had sold some cash secured puts, so I'm going to be adding to my plug position, my Luminar position, and let's see, also my big lots position, which I'm going to regret, but you know, we'll see what happens with it. But yeah, thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you guys in the next stream and the next video, comments, whatnot. Take care, you guys.